Hi Groovers, it's Derryn here from Art by Derryn, welcoming you to another ArtStart art class. Today we're doing the cruciform composition. What I want you to do is grab a scrap piece of paper and on it draw a portrait rectangle and two landscape rectangles and a square. And what we're going to do is work out a value sketch. Now if I draw a cruciform in equal distances inside a rectangle, you can see it looks pretty boring. Basically it looks like a flag, doesn't it? So what we want to do is try to create really interesting lines and textures. So grab a pen and start filling in. In this one here we're doing it in a portrait style, which means the rectangle's turned on its end. But what I'm going for here is to try to make each section different. So if you have a look at the actual negative space that I've created, each one of those sections is different. And that's what we're going for, to get an interesting composition. So let's do another one. This is in a landscape composition, just means the rectangle's long ways. And again, trying to get interesting marks. Each shape I want to be different. Can you see how in the 4 different positions I've got different sizes and different textures? Now my pen just ran out, so of course I just grabbed a thicker pen, but that's also given us a sense of foreground and background there. So let's do another one in a square. If you look at this, it's kind of a tree shape there, isn't it? Well, let's work with that a bit more, and well, look, we've got a bit of a landscape there happening, haven't we? If we look at it, we'll talk more about it in a second. I forgot I went on to draw the last one here. Okay, just another cruciform shape in a different position in our rectangle. So let's go back to this one. Yeah, here it is. Look, that's a tree. And now we've got a mountain, and we've got a foreground, and we've got a middle ground, and we've got a background. And in an abstract, that's what we're wanting as well. We're wanting a foreground, a middle ground, and a background, the same as you would for a landscape. And of course, the other things we're going to focus on are things like line, our shapes, the colour, value, and that's what we're doing now, the scale of things, and the movement and texture in our piece. And all of those are the 7 elements of design. And if you need a refresh on those, the link down below will give you will get you to the free stuff on my site where you can get your free elements of design sheet that you can hang up on your wall. So we're going to use these 2 papers that I just showed you, and I've got a piece of watercolour paper here that I'm just applying gesso to, and not really worrying about getting it all over the piece of paper. What gesso will do is will protect will form a barrier so that we're not using so much paint, because gesso is a lot cheaper than paint, of course. And what it will also do will provide some texture. So what I'm doing here is just adding texture, so thicker pieces of gesso on my palette knife, and just sort of getting that in the pattern of our composition. Okay, so I've got our papers, just using some soft gel matte medium here, and I'm going to put down this first paper in around about our composition. So I've got my value sketch to the side, and I'm just kind of looking to see where the big shapes are. So you can just rip up your paper. You can do this any way you like. You don't have to use this particular paper, it's just the one I've chosen for this. I'm going to use this other little cross form as well, just to give a little bit of different texture. Again, just using the soft gel. You can see I use quite a lot, and that just makes sure it sticks down. You're always putting it underneath and on top of the paper to make sure it's really well adhered. And of course, soft gel matte is archival, so it will last forever. Now getting some black gesso out onto my palette knife. and creating some more darker values. If you put your gesso out flat like that onto a palette, it'll be easy for you to pick up on the side of your knife like I'm doing here. So just adding some lines, having fun, really at this point just playing. You can do anything at this point because this is only our first layer, and what this is doing is giving us some dark, some light, and some medium tones. Just drawing into the gesso there with my end of my palette knife, just repeating that same pattern with the cruciform. Okay. Now I've let this dry in between. You don't necessarily have to, but your black paint will mix with the white gesso and give you a grey. So what I'm doing here is just knocking the papers back. So just creating another layer on top with my gesso, also cutting into it with the back of my
my main colour is
brush.
going to be blue-green. Now I can use my complementary of red-orange for a pop of colour. Or I could use the split complementaries, which means the ones next to the complement. These two. Orange or red. But I think what I'm going to do is use blue-green, blue-green, maybe even a bit of yellow-green as well, and use the red-orange as my complement. So I'll mix those colours. Okay, so these are the colours I'm using. It's Pebeo, which is a translucent. We've got the Liquitex Basics teal colour, and in blue we've got our Matisse Primary Blue, Primary Yellow, and some white. What we're looking for is variety. You have a little bit of shine. Okay, so I didn't have the camera on while I was doing this, but I've basically just added the blue, the yellow, and the green, bits of white, and varied my texture. We've put the blue line in here, had it coming out here, we've got it in here, coming out here. If you notice, they're all different sizes and different shapes. We've still repeated our kind of cross pattern, varied that, and they're all different size. We can still see our papers underneath by using transparent paints, and we've used opaques as well to knock some of it back. Now you can see, I'll bring this up closer so you can see. When you look at it closely, see all the texture under there from our gesso, from our papers. So even if we cover our papers up, they're still giving us underlying texture. And they're all through here. See our gesso here from underneath? So we've got a very varied background. Though standing up and looking at it now that I've stood up, I think it's all a bit too green just here. So I'm going to vary that a bit. I think it's just got way too much green in there. Maybe with a bit of white. Got to be careful with the whites when you've got papers on the... You have to be careful. If you want to see your papers, don't paint white over the top of them because it's opaque and it will cover it up. But what this is doing is just varying the colour. Getting rid of, it's looking very green and not blue-green. So let's mix up blue-green. Now, can you see? That's not a true blue. That's not a primary blue. And see how it's got this muddy kind of green? That blue's probably got a bit of red in it. So what I want to do is grab my primary blue. And if you don't know about our colour theory and how we make colours, you can go to my website, artbyderryn.com.au, and there's a free colour video there explaining how we make all these colours. So remember, more yellow, a little bit of blue. We'll give us green, a bit more blue. We'll give us blue-green. That's really green there. Add some white, blue. We've got a blue-green. Nope, still green. Needs more blue. That's what happens when you use a dirty brush. Usually it's a good idea, but if you're trying to mix a colour, it's not. You should change your brush. Here we go. We've got a blue-green now. Okay. Just add this in a few places. You can always use our fingers, use our brush, other end to make lines. Tara. Scrape into it. A bit more blue. Darken those corners. See, by picking up a little bit of paint each time, I'm varying the colour. I think this section here is a bit too white. I'm going to knock that back. Varying my brush strokes. A little bit of white there, just to vary that. A bit of blue. That'll vary that colour. Tara. It's my little dog going berserk for some reason. Okay. Let's try a little bit of reverse stenciling on there. Now, our pattern is a square, so we can either repeat that again, or we can add a little something different for variety. I'm going to just stay with a geometric pattern and just use a baby wipe to just rub out a few little sections, not right back to the white. 3 places again. Maybe leading into that from the edge. Seeing our paper underneath there again. Okay. So that's just given us, again, another bit of variety, a little bit of pop in there as well.
Okay, we've got these leftover paints, so waste not, want not. Let's grab our journal page that we threw that leftover bit of gesso on as well, and just make a really fast background here. So it doesn't matter which way you mix them, any way you like. I'm just adding little bits of water to sort of extend the paint here as well. And just grabbing it all and mushing it onto that page as quickly as possible. Alright, I think here, yeah, this is where I start running out of paint. So, and I'm holding the book up over the painting. Why didn't I just move the painting? Anyway, it's dry now, so I can put it down. But just adding some water to make an acrylic wash. And that's a way to extend your paint. I wouldn't recommend doing this if you're making art to sell. It can weaken the bonds of the paint. But definitely okay to do for a journal page. Okay, so there's that background done, and we'll use that later on, and we'll finish that page off as well.
Okay, so I've just put a wash of the translucent blue-green over the whole thing, basically, just to knock it back a little bit. If you look at it and you squint your eyes, that's how we tell our values. So if you squint your eyes and have a look at it, see we've got that dark here and here, but the rest of it is kind of mid-tone. So what I want to do, I can breathe, still getting over this cold, but we're going to use some, I've just mixed a little bit of phthalo turquoise, which is a blue-green, a dark blue-green, with a little bit of our primary blue. And you can make this colour, you just have to mix lots of blue with a bit of yellow. What this is going to do is going to, if we put that on, you can see now how, if you squint your eyes again, got this very strong line here. So what I'm going to do is reinforce these lines here. Maybe scratch into them again, like that, so we continue our checkered sort of theme. Going back to our, and you always refer to your initial value drawing. So see how we've got these lines here in front of our background. So let's put a couple of those lines in. So this one comes like that. There's another one there. Another one follows down a bit. And you don't have to do it slavishly to the same as this, but you know, it's an abstract. It's giving us a little bit of a pathway and a little bit of help in working out what we're doing. I mean, you can do whatever you like at this stage with it. But I don't want it to look stripy. See how it's kind of starting to look a bit stripy? So what I'm going to do is put this line in, and then I'm going to change the thickness. So see, at the moment they're all the same thickness. So let's maybe, because this is our focal point here, maybe let's widen that one there a bit. We've got that going into there. Let's maybe widen this one down here. Not the same, make it a little bit wider because it's going to lead the eye in from the bottom. And see, this is a semi-transparent colour, so you're still seeing underneath. We can scratch into that. Again, we can put our checkerboard pattern through there just to break that colour field up a bit. Maybe use our finger. Oops, it started to dry already, so a little bit of water. And we can maybe blend that so it looks like it's coming in from behind. I mean, this is where it's up to you what you do with your painting. You know, you'll paint the same picture and it will look totally different. So I'm getting a baby wipe now, just to blend those edges so they kind of look like they blend in. We can have some hard edges like that, and we can have some soft edges where we blend the colour into the background a bit more. Blend that one into there. That one's blended. These have dried a bit much. Don't really want to stripe out in that corner. Alright, so now you can see as you squint your eyes, as you're looking at this piece now, we've got some more darks going on here. I think what I'm going to do as well is introduce a few more, and I'll just grab my black. Okay, so this is a Atelier Free Flow. It's just a fluid acrylic in black. Now we can just put a little bit of that down, and of course black being our biggest contrast, it's going to give us, we have to be sort of careful with this one. So you see I'm just patting that into the side, and that's going to be able to give me some lines. So I've got to really think about where I want these. So I definitely want them around the focal point area, like that. Let's see, one like that. Take it off the page. Maybe another one in from here. Now this will give you a varied line. if you move it, or you can just tap it. Actually, let's join those up, but not as heavy, because this is our focal point. Even though it's an abstract, it still has a focal point and all the same rules apply as, you know, to a portrait or to a landscape. You're wanting to think of your elements of design. So again, our line, shape, value, color, texture, the scale, so and the movement in the piece. So if we look at each one of those elements of design, line. Are our lines different? Yes, we've got thick lines, we've got thin lines, we've got mid-tone lines, and we've got dark lines. So I think possibly we should put some light lines in there. And that's a really good way of sort of evaluating your painting. If you think you've finished and, you know, have you achieved everything that you want in your painting? You know, just those basic elements of design can help you to maybe just push your painting a little bit further than you would and get a better painting, a more interesting painting. Now see, that's coming more to life now with that black. I think maybe let's really hit it in at our focal point. So you can see you can make a really long line with your little palette knife. You just have to keep joining it up together. I don't want that starburst look though, so we'll just put some different lines in there just to give it a different look. Okay. Maybe a bit. All right, so you can see it's this backwards and forwards of, you know, trying this, trying that, until it gets to something that you like. I mean, you might hate this, and look, that's fine. You don't have to like it. I have to like it, you know, and then at least one other person, someone that's going to buy the piece. That would be lovely. Of course, as artists, we like to sell our work. Do a shameless plug now. Go to Derryn, go to www.artbyderryn.com.au, buy my artwork there. Okay, so a little bit of white, same thing. Let's see, again, greatest contrast, black and white. So we want that around our focal point. Maybe do something a little bit different. Oh look, we've got a dot. There we go. So happy accidents. It's still, I'm getting that starburst again. I was trying to avoid that, but let's just go with it. Let me change that there. Nope. Okay. So it's all about experimentation. Now, I could leave that dot there, but I don't think I want to. So a little baby wipe. There we go. Bye bye dot. And it's gone. Okay, so we've got our main colour, which was blue-green. We've got variations of that. We've used our black and white papers underneath. I mean, they're just peeking through. So what they've done is allowed a layering effect, and it gets you to look into the painting. When you look at it, you know, you spend time going, oh, what's that? You know, it's hiding behind there. It gives a sense of depth to the whole thing. So I'm going to leave that there to dry, and we'll come back and put our focal point colour on, which is red-orange. I had a look at it again, and all the lines were too similar. So what I've done is gone in and shifted just the side with the palette knife, just shifting it slightly to give variation in that line. Dragging that a bit. Now, because we've got all this texture as well, we can just use the back of the palette knife and just skim that a little bit and the white paint will catch on the high points. Like that. Just to get a little bit of white into the background as well. Just going to balance it, put it in 3 places at least. We definitely got it in 3 places. That'll just lighten up that background a bit more too. Okay, so this is nearly dry now, and I wanted to show you, see how paper can bend as it dries. It's pretty simple to fix. Just pick it up and bend it like that. That'll get it to lay flat again. Now, I've been having a little fiddle with this for a minute, and what I've done is, this is just a piece of deli paper that I've printed on. We've done that in your bonus classes from ArtStart, and had a jelly plate print. So this one's got the red orange that I was looking for. So have a look in your collage papers to see what you've got. And from that piece of paper, what I've done is cut out a few different shapes. Now we could just leave this as is and put on one large shape, for example, a triangle. Now, it's got texture, it's got our colour that we want, it's got darkness as well, so our eye is definitely going there. The red-orange is the complementary colour from our green, our blue-green, and so our eye goes there, plus the lines are leading us there as well. Now, this triangle, you could put it separate, and that would be saying something as well. That there's, you know, there's this separation between the two. You've got heaviness on one side, a small thing on the other side. I mean, you could even put it out here if you wanted to. It's up to you where it goes. If we're going to put it at our focal point area, which is here, it can go that way, it could go that way, it could go up here, it could go down here, it could go anywhere, okay? It's up to you where you put that. Bit boring that way, probably put it that way. So these are things I want you to think about, that especially using collage papers when you're first starting out, it's a great way to audition what's going on with your painting, so you don't have to commit to, you know, painting a triangle there. You can put it there and see whether you like it and go, actually, you know what, I don't like it there, I'll put it there or there, and you can audition. So that's a triangle. I also cut out a few other things. So this lady, at the foam stamp that we made, there she's kind of, the area that she's looking at, see, it's short. So what I would do if I was using her is I'd probably flip the whole thing around, sorry about that, hope I didn't spin anyone out, and probably place her like this. So she's still in our focal point area, but there's more a sense of distance from her eye line out. You know, you could put her down here, so it looked like she was coming out of the ground, you know, ascending. These are all sorts of things that you want people to think at when they're looking at your work, or, you know, for you to think about, what do you want to say? You know, what does this say with her there like that? Is she coming into enlightenment? Is there a problem, you know? Is she here just, you know, waiting? Is she looking? What is she looking at? Maybe she's looking at our triangle, like that. You know, you could do something like that with this piece. You could turn this into a landscape if you wanted to. You just need to paint a bit of sky in, and you've already got kind of a tree looking thing there, but this is abstraction, and that's what we're working with. So this, even though this is a human form in inverted commas, it's still an abstraction of the human form. There's no arms, there's no legs. This is my soul kind of symbol. And so that's an abstraction of the human form. Another thing that I did as well, so that's just another way. Excuse me, I'll turn this back around slowly. I've got another jelly plate print, which is of an angel. Oops, that was supposed to be the other way. Sorry about that. Okay, so an angel with a sun in it. Now, if I put this on this paper, picked up some wet paint, because this is that deli paper, this is going to go fairly see-through. So I could stick that whole thing down and then you would see the greens come through from the background, the white there, and you could have that image there. Now, with these sort of sharp edges, I'd probably cut into them a bit so they're a little bit more interesting, because you can tend to see the edges, and possibly put a bit of green paint there just to push that in. Whenever you want to use a paper in your work, you want it to integrate into the background, like we did before with the gesso, putting on that over our papers to integrate them into the background. Again, you would do something like that if you use something like this. So I'll just gently go back around. Now I've cut out these little sort of organic shapes. And what I've done is cut out different sizes. So I was thinking, because there's so many straight lines, what I'd like to do is make a kind of a circle, but not crossing any of the lines. Oops, that one's supposed to go there. So making like a circle. It's going to be coming out. What we want to do is keep the eye in. So these lines lead us into the painting, because we tend to look at paintings from the bottom to the top. Now these are sort of over here, so it's kind of pulling your eye that way a bit, so we could shift it. Maybe have it leading in from the bottom like that, and have something like that. So I'm just going to stick these on with some soft gel matte medium, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I stuck those on. There's our picture finished. Just one more little thing. When you use the soft gel matte, if you've got a translucent surface like this one, and I'll hold it up to the light so you can see that's quite a reflective surface there. I don't know if you can see there, but see how the gel medium, it's matte, so when it dries it's not going to have this shine that we've got on the rest of our painting. So what I've just done is carried that matte medium to sort of in a line to kind of join those up, so that when it dries there'll be this kind of pathway of matteness. That's not a word. It won't be shiny, basically. And so I can just, draw into that like we've done before. Can you see how it's picking up those lines just by the matte medium? So just be aware of that in your work as well, that the matte medium, it's a fantastic glue. If you wanted to, you could use a soft gel gloss if you wanted it to stay shiny, or alternatively, when you seal this painting, you can seal it with a gloss medium, and it will all even out, and the whole thing will be glossy. So the only thing left to do now is to find my black pen. It's my food ball pen, Japanese pen. I've got paint on it, as everything does in my studio. It's a food ball. It's a Japanese pen. It works really well on acrylic. Because this is black, I'm going to sign my name in the corner here. And we are done. Hope you enjoyed that tutorial. For my ArtStart classes, go to www.artbyderryn.com.au/ArtStart, or there's a link in the comments down below. Please leave a comment, like this video, and I will see you soon with a new art class from ArtStart. Get your art started. Have a great day. Just with this leftover paint again, waste not, want not. I've got this journal page that we started with our other leftover paint. We can do similar things like that. Make some lines with it. Make them different thicknesses, different lengths. Got a bit of black there as well. And just to finish off this page, let's grab some purple. What have we got? This would be an analogous colour, purple. And we've got our translucent Pebeo pink there as well. And that would be a complementary colour. And let's stick with the palette knife, why not? Back off there so I don't transfer it. Okay. This suggests to me a field of some sort, so let's give it some sense of flowers. All I'm doing is grabbing the paint, making a mess there, kind of adding it where you'd think like a lavender stalk would be. Sort of that same kind of shape. You know, the Italian lavender is this beautiful red-violet colour. So just putting that all over the page, varying it. Add a bit of pink. Change the size, just tapping a little pink into those ones. There we go. Just giving a bit of texture there, whoops. Alright, put another one there. Whenever you make a mistake like that, just see if you can incorporate it somehow into your painting. Here we go. Oh, there, maybe there. Oops, picked up a bit of black. Okay, well that's in there now. Let's go rid of this white too. Pick a light direction that way, so we can add the light coming onto that side. Just lightening that. When it dries, that will combine. Oops, run out of paint. Okay, just dab a little bit of white onto each of those. There we go. There we go. We've got the impression of a lavender field. It took us 5 minutes. Okay, so here's our bonus ArtStart Art Journal page. Just to remind you what we did, we used our leftover paints as the background and used brush strokes in different ways to create the texture. We also added some water to give us a wash around the edge, and then we used some purple and red violet paint and some white and black as well to create this sense of a lavender field. And I've just added some little cutout shapes of some butterflies and put in some lettering as well with the saying flowers are the earth's laughter. You might see here I've also put little hee-hees next to my lavender, suggesting that they're giggling. Yay! And if you haven't done this sort of lettering before, it's really simple. Just draw a couple of curved lines like I've done there, and then use your own handwriting. Just do a simple line drawing of your letters, and then you go around the outside, okay? And then fill that in with paint. And I've just filled that in with a darker purple paint here. Then I've used a white uniball pen, which is one of these. Great pen to write on top of acrylic paint. And drawn some little flower doodles and some dots
and also put down some shadows. So if you're going to do this shadowing on your writing as well, always pick one side, whether up or down, and also one side left or right. So in this case I said right and under, so everywhere I put a white line was on the right side and underneath. So everywhere you see here, right side underneath, right side underneath, right side underneath. And that gives us that sense of shadow there with that lettering. So I hope you enjoyed that bonus page, and I will see you soon with another ArtStart art class or art tip. Until then, have a wonderful day. Bye for now.